Samantha laughed and hugged him. My Uncle Ezra moved west when I was a child. I vaguely remember him as having a long beard and carrying me around on his shoulders. We exchanged letters every Christmas. He died and left his ranch to us. Daniel's blue eyes clouded over. Died? Like Papa? He tilted his head, studying her. Are you going to cry? Samantha swallowed the lump in her throat. She leaned over, pulling her son into her arms and resting her cheek against his silky hair. Not like Papa. Uncle Ezra was very old, and he wasn't very happy the last few years of his life. Now he's at peace with God in heaven. With Papa? And with Papa. And with your grandmother and grandfather? She hugged him. Now we're going to live on his ranch, except it will belong to us. Will Abuelo come too? She saw the wariness in his eyes. No, your grandfather will stay here. Relief washed over his features, only to be replaced by fear. He twisted in her hold. Will Abuelo let us go? His voice quavered. Sudden anger knotted in her stomach. It's not for your grandfather to say. We're going. Once again, she'd be butting heads with that domineering old man. He'd never forgiven his youngest son's choice of a Protestant American for a wife, so he continued to treat her with disdain. Samantha hated every minute of her cloistered life. Now she had the key to her gilded cage, and no matter what, she was not going to let Don Ricardo stop her and her son from flying free. For 3 days, Samantha had plotted, planned, and worried so all the details of their escape would be in place before she faced her formidable father-in-law. She paused outside the carved wooden door leading to Don Ricardo's study, mentally girding herself, then tentatively raised her hand to knock. Over the last 2 years, she'd learned to use her imagination defensively, keeping her true self protected from the bitter barbs the arrogant old man hurled at her. Today, instead of entering Don Ricardo's male bastion with sinking spirits, she felt buoyed up by the letter in her hand, knowing she'd be able to face the coming encounter with a stronger heart than she'd shown in the past. But she still dreaded the interview. Her father-in-law wouldn't easily relinquish control over her and Daniel. Soon, she promised herself, soon these scenes will be only bad memories. With resolution goading her, she knocked on a smooth circle edged by carved rosettes. Passe! He called. She pushed open the door and stepped into the room. Don Ricardo sat at his large mahogany desk, perusing some papers, the inevitable gourd-shaped silver mate of his favorite yerba mate tea resting near his elbow. Samantha had never acquired a taste for the bitter Argentinian beverage, especially when passed around in a communal mate and sipped through a tube-like bombilla. With her father-in-law, she knew she'd be spared the ritual. He had never favored her with the social privilege of sharing his yerba mate. She waited for him to notice her, not that anything escaped him. Don Ricardo often made her wait like a servant until he saw fit to acknowledge her. It's the last time. That thought kept at bay the anger she always felt in his presence. Sometimes the effort of containing her feelings would cause her to fidget, bringing a rebuke to his lips and putting her at a disadvantage. But not today. Samantha studied him. The same aristocratic features, high cheekbones, thin nose, and winged eyebrows that she had so loved in her husband's face, and now her son's, had withered in the older man's features to skin over bone. A true reflection of the unforgiving spirit dwelling within. Her Juan Carlos would never have aged in the same manner. Even as an elderly man, he would have had laugh lines around his eyes. Don Ricardo looked up, a frown crossing his face.
I'm extremely busy.
This won't take more than a few minutes. He nodded permission. I've received a telegram from Montana informing me that my Uncle Ezra has died and willed his ranch to me. The frown lines between Don Ricardo's eyebrows smoothed. His face eased into the first hint of approval she'd seen directed at her in a long time.
This is good news indeed. Give me the information, and I'll make arrangements to have the property sold. I'm pleased, Daniel.